Hello people and welcome to part 2 of Spyro the Dragon. We are now entering Stone Hill. So right off the bat, what I like to do in Stone Hill is I like to cover the first area before anything else, so I try to comb this entire area. What's hard about Stone Hill is that it's a massive level. It's pretty big. In terms of the first homeworld, it's probably the biggest and probably the most confusing level out of all of them. And to be honest, a lot of people love this level for whatever reason. I actually don't really like this level all that much. I think it's pretty, I think it just gets a little too confusing sometimes, especially on the top half. But I don't know. I mean, I like it. It looks awesome. The music's incredible. But I just don't really like the level design of the level, I guess. But yeah, for the first area, I like to comb the entirety of it and then go right in here.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
That dragon has probably one of my favorite designs out of all of them. He just looks so cool. I love the color blue, so like, I don't know. It's just a really cool looking dragon. But I like to go into that room first, mainly because once you go in that room, there's nowhere else to go once you're inside that room. So it's best to just get out of the way first. So now we enter this open area here. It's filled with rams and these shepherd guys, I guess. I don't really know what to call them. I call them shepherds just because, I mean, that's what they look like. What's good about the shepherds, what's weird about the shepherds actually, is that in this level and in this level alone, when you charge them, you are knocked back. In other levels, when you see these shepherds, when you charge them, you're not knocked back. So like, it's strange. I don't know how that's possible, especially since, you know, it's an enemy. See, like right there, I charged that guy, and I received a bit of knockback. That's not the case in like the levels like Toasty, which we see later. I'm not sure if that's like a design flaw or anything like that. I just think that it's rather strange, seeing it's how it's one enemy, but you know. Now to free this one dragon up here, which it's actually one of my favorite ones, to be honest.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet!
For the longest glide, press the X button at the top of a jump, and try pressing the triangle button to drop down in mid-flight.
I love that guy. He's like, Spyro, my friend, how about a little hint on gliding? Super friendly. So yeah, there's a concept in this game called basically the drop maneuver, and it's a maneuver that's not seen in any other Spyro game aside from this one. Basically, once you're gliding, you press triangle and you immediately drop down. That's actually really useful in this game in particular because there's a lot of platforming sections that require, well, precision. And in order to get your footing on a lot of things, it's better to use that triangle maneuver to just drop down immediately so that you can, you know, space yourself out with platforms and such. There's our next thief. Like I said, if you just continue to hold that charge button, you'll catch up to it in no time. The thieves in this game are pretty slow. Especially compared to the third game, in which they're essentially almost your speed. But in this game, it's not the case. There's a lot of chests and gems up here. This is the difficult part about Stone Hill that I was mentioning earlier. All the gems are in, like, very obscure locations. Well, not obscure, but they're kind of hidden in, like, the trees and stuff. So you have to, like, go out of your way to make sure that you don't miss any of them. So I apologize if I take a while up here. It's not too long or anything, but I spend more of my time up here in this level than I do in any other part of this level, so I know there's a way to do it more quickly, like quicker. Like for example, the second that you enter this top section, if you were to head right or something, like you could get these gems a lot easier. But to this day, I still don't really know the quickest method to get all the gems up there. I just comb the entire area, make sure I don't miss anything, and that's that. Then I go down here to this room. There's like, I think there's 2 rams, I could be wrong. Yeah, that's probably just one. Then I go back out here to make sure I don't miss anything. And then I free this dragon right over here before I return home. Right? Yes? Oh.
After you freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya.
So what's strange about that dragon is that that's the same dragon that we saw in the intro cutscene, only with a different voice actor. So that's it's interesting. It has the same design and everything, so you know. So to get the key for this level, you have to go into the beach area here. That's another thing about this game that I mentioned in the last part, is that there's a lot of areas in the levels that you wouldn't think to look at, and that's just one of them. You would think that the bottom there is just like instant death or like a bottomless pit or something, but no. That's actually a sandy beach that you can walk on to get that key, which opens this chest right here, which gives us the rest of our gems.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong. Like me.
Sure.
He eats butterflies, stay strong. Like me. That's one of my favorite dragons too, but... Alright guys, so we got all the gems, all the dragon eggs, and all the dragons, so that's it for Stone Hill. That didn't take normally as long as it normally takes for me to complete this level. Sometimes I'm stuck here for like a good while. But yeah, let's return home and collect our gems. Another thing to know about this game in particular is the sound of the portals. Whenever you're near a portal, you hear this like awesome sound effect. Once you get close to them, and they didn't bring that back in either the second or third game, so that's kind of disappointing because it's pretty epic to just hear it. It's like a sound. It's awesome. But now we're entering our first flight level, Sunny Flight. So a good strategy for this level in order to get all the collectibles. Basically, what I do is I try to go for the trains first. I don't try to catch the first train that I see because it's pretty much past the point where I can quickly get to it and then go back. So I just head to the left, get the first train, and then continue down that trackway there to get the rest of them. After that, I go straight into this cave to get these chests. One thing I like to do is I like to get this chest behind that chest that was in the middle, and then circle around to get the rest of them. If you miss one, I mean it's fine. You can just circle around, but it just it wastes a bit of time. But aside from that, it's pretty easy to get those. You have to do it a bit quick because they're pretty consecutive with each other. And then after that, I just go for these arches here. I think well, the arches are pretty much the easiest ones to get. You just literally just fly through them. I wouldn't save these arches for last, however. If you do, it might cost you time, because since the arches are so far apart from each other, I wouldn't recommend that. After I get that arch, I try to get as many of these planes as I can, and then continue to get the rest of them. It just adds a bit of time, so... but yeah. Then I just go for the planes last. This level was also shown off for the Reignited Trilogy, and it looks, oh god, so good. Beautiful level. The music isn't half bad either. It's actually pretty good. Yeah, that's it. We got these last two planes, and we skyrocket off into space, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, we got it all in one shot. Awesome. Spoiler warning, I won't be as lucky as I was for that flight level, because for whatever reason... For whatever reason, I didn't do nearly as good as the other flight levels that you'll see in the later half of this playthrough, but... yeah, you'll see just how bad I did those flight levels later on. So what I like to do when I play Spyro the Dragon, I like to replay this dragon here because he says something new.
Cool Flash, do that again.
The artisan's boss has threw a portal behind me. You can challenge him now, if you feel you are ready.
So I didn't know about that alternate dialogue until literally a year after completing the entire game. Like, it was crazy. I had no idea, because normally when I get to Toasty, it's usually after I've already beat it on other levels, so... But yeah, we're now entering Toasty. So I also think about Toasty, it was I believe, the first full level shown for the first Spyro the Dragon in the Reignited trilogy. And, well, for starters, it looked absolutely incredible. These dogs were turned into sheep dogs, I think, something like that. They had a lot more fur and stuff. But what's interesting about the remake is that your flame is a lot more consistent. You can repeatedly mash that thing and, like with no penalty, really, and that really made defeating these dog enemies pretty easy, because in this game what you have to do is you have to flame them once, and you can do one of two things. You can either roll out of the way like I did there, or you can flame them once, jump, and then flame them while they're in the air. In the Reignited trilogy, you don't have to do any of those things. You can just flame them once and flame them again, and like, that's it. So I hope by the time the game comes out in November that the flame will be not as spammy as it used to be. In this room they added a bunch of paintings, which is really cool as well. This part of the song that you're hearing now doesn't come in until the boss starts, which is something that they added in the Reignited trilogy, is the dynamic music option. Which I think is pretty cool, especially in terms of like boss fights and stuff. I like that the music doesn't pick up until you fight the boss, but it'd be a lot better if the music was good. I apologize for those of you who like Toasty, but yeah.
Nasty Nork has put one of his most devious henchmen in charge of the artisan world.
Bring him on. I think I smell a barbecue.
Be careful, Spyro. This boss has many tricks up his sleeve.
So now in the Reignited trilogy, he says Toasty has many tricks up his sleeve, so that's different. So Toasty is really easy. The only challenge here is the dogs, the sheep dogs, or whatever they are. Because all he does is just run behind the dogs, and if you're good at the game like I am, I guess, you can just flame them all at once and get rid of them that way. Oddly enough, after I got rid of all the sheepdogs, I was going to flame him, but for the first time in my entire history of playing this game, I got smacked by Toasty. I don't understand. I don't get it. I mean, I've never seen anyone on YouTube get hit by Toasty ever, so that's pretty embarrassing. But there's this thing called an LP curse. Basically, that's what that was. But yeah, we got all the gems, we rescued the dragons, let's return home. And so that's that, guys. We have completely finished the entirety of the Artisan's Homeworld. That was pretty quick. The Artisan's Homeworld is probably the shortest, well, yeah, it is the shortest out of all the homeworlds in this game. There's only 5 levels, and they're all pretty short, so let's head on over to the Balloonist, who will transport us to the next world. So, in the next part, we will be going to the Peacekeeper's homeworld. So please, stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys then. Hey guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video on my channel. If you're a Christian watching this and are at all interested in finding a Christian YouTube channel, make sure to check out my other channel known as Waldy Santos, where I'll be covering biblical, theological, and spiritual topics. Thank you guys once again, and as always, God bless you.